Kathy, can you give us a roll call?
Chair Ramos,
Present.
Vice Chair Bates,
Present.
Commissioner Wolf,
Present.
Commissioner Westfall. Present. First Commissioner Augustida,
Present.
Commissioner Boxenbrook,
Present.
Commissioner Sandal,
Present.
Commissioner Mendoza, Commissioner Rooney, Commissioner McCrary,
Present.
Commissioner Brown,
Present.
Commissioner Bustamante, Commissioner Baker, and we have quorum.
Thank you. Apologies for being a couple minutes late. All right, so the second item on our agenda is the consent calendar. Under the consent calendar is approval of the minutes. Do I call public comment first or do I just, okay, we're good. Just checking. That's why I keep looking to you. You can run this. Okay. Just trying, I'll keep trying and bring okay, so, do I have a motion? Commissioner Augustinus, any second? Second by Vice Chair Banks. All those in favor, say aye. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Do I do a roll call? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion passes. All right, I can find this now. All right, item number 3 is, public record, is the reading of any correspondence that has been submitted.
There has not.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Okay, item number 4 is open forum. Members of the public are invited to speak on any item that does not appear on today's agenda and is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Library and Education Commission. Meeting attendees are usually given 2 minutes to speak on any discussion item and or during open forum. The time limit is in the discretion of the chair of the meeting and may be limited when appropriate. Speakers who need a translator will be given twice the amount allotted to ensure non-English speakers receive the same opportunity to directly address the committee, board, or commission. Do we have anyone for open forum?
We do not.
Next on the agenda is our discussion and action item portion, and item number A is an information session, which is the youth commission update. So our youth commissioners here to provide the update. Wonderful. This is the best. This is the best update. I mean, but don't tell everyone else on the agenda. Sorry, Fiona.
Good. All right. Good evening, Chair, Commissioners, and staff. My name is Mary Kudreski. I am the Citywide Youth Commissioner, and I have the honor of serving as the Chair for the San Jose Youth Commission for the 2025 to 2026 fiscal year. The Youth Commission continues to serve as the official advisory group to the Mayor and City Council, representing approximately 248,000 youth under age 19 in San Jose. We empower and encourage youth to be civically engaged and participate actively through local citywide events and initiatives. Under the leadership of the Library Department's Teen HQ unit since 2021, we continue to align with the city's educational and digital strategy, while upholding our core values of responsibility, teamwork, empathy, inclusivity, empowerment, and integrity. Our commission is comprised of 11 dedicated commissioners, one from each city council district and one citywide representative. We work alongside volunteer youth, and district youth advisory councils, or YACs, to develop policy proposals, host events, and create initiatives that amplify youth voices to local public officials.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Neha Pradeep Kumar, and I'm the District 2 Youth Commissioner. And this year, I have the honor of serving as the Vice Chair of the San Jose Youth Commission for the 2025 to 2026 fiscal year. As mentioned, we work closely with youth advisory councils, or YACs, in each district. These councils are comprised of volunteer youth who provide valuable input and insights on policies and programs that directly impact young people. In addition to supporting the Youth Commission's work plan, YAC members serve as grassroots advocates and community connectors, helping us ensure that our initiatives truly reflect the diverse needs and perspectives of San Jose youth across all districts. Last fiscal year, Youth Commission and Youth Advisory Council members volunteered a combined 1,085 service hours in dedication to Youth Commission activities and events, demonstrating our deep commitment to serving our community. This year, through extensive youth-focused outreach and drawing on our lived experiences, we've developed an ambitious work plan for the fiscal year 2025 and 2026 that focuses on two primary objectives that directly address the priorities identified by young people in our community.
Our first major objective is to evaluate and advise on college career and literacy opportunities and resources in San Jose. To accomplish this, we will conduct comprehensive youth participatory action research and launch a citywide youth survey to gather direct insight and input from youth on city budget and educational priorities. This data-driven approach ensures that youth voices are not just heard, but systematically integrated into policy and budget discussions. Additionally, we plan to explore and uplift community partnerships with local education agencies, strengthening the bridges between youth, educational institutions, and city government.
Objective focuses on celebrating San Jose's diversity and culture through exploring community building and placemaking initiatives. We will foster youth voice through culture and art, recognizing that creative expression is fundamental to youth engagement and community connection. Our commission will conduct outreach and promote existing local resources and events in partnership with the City of San Jose and other community-based organizations, ensuring that all young people are aware of and have access to available opportunities. We are also committed to advocating for immigrant youth and families by providing support resources, acknowledging that San Jose's strength lies in its diversity and that everyone has a place in our community, regardless of their background.
Looking at our next steps, we have a clear timeline for implementation. This fall, 2025, we will recruit and organize our youth advisory councils across all districts and establish ad hoc working committees to tackle specific initiatives. We're also excited about our upcoming joint meeting with you all in the end of October. And this winter, we will launch and promote our comprehensive youth priorities survey, which will be instrumental in gathering citywide youth input on budget and policy priorities.
Moving into winter 2026, we plan to host a youth-led budget priority summit, providing a direct platform for youth voices in the city's budgetary process. Finally, in spring 2026, we'll present our annual Youth Commission report to the Neighborhood Services and Education Committee. Beyond our formal work plan, the Youth Commission will continue to participate in multiple community events and initiatives throughout the year, including park cleanups, tree plantings, clothing and food drives, and various cultural celebrations and educational workshops.
Thank you for your continued support of the Youth Commission and for recognizing the importance of youth voice in city governance. For those interested in learning more about our work, you can visit our website at www.sjpl.org/youthcommission or contact us at youthcommission@sanjoseca.gov. Thank you very much for your time and attention.
Let's give them a round of applause. So I'll open it up to any of the commissioners who may have any, oh, I'm sorry. See? Are you sure? You don't want to? Do we have any public comment?
We do not.
Okay. Okay. And so with that, thank you to our chair and vice chair of the Youth Commission. We will open it up to commissioners for any questions or comments. You don't have a question for me?
Hey everyone, this is Commissioner Alistida. Just wanted to say that you guys have a great plan. I can't wait to see everything you guys accomplish. Particularly, I'm a fan of the park cleanups. So thank you for doing that, and just thank you for representing the youth. I think it's important that you guys get involved, especially nowadays. So thank you for everything you're doing, and I look forward to seeing more. Thank you.
Comments or questions? Commissioner Brown?
Thank you both for coming. I really love the way that you presented tonight, and I'm excited about the new team here. I just wanted to thank you for continuing to offer a platform for youth to have a voice. And I love that that was echoed again in your slides, that this is an important platform. I teach preschoolers, and one of the rules in my classroom is have a loud voice. It's not about yelling, it's about being able to advocate for yourselves. So I'm very curious what will come out of what you're looking at as far as the job market for youth and what they're looking at as far as going into college and career. I think a lot of things are changing, and it'll be interesting to hear the response that you guys have. So I'm really looking forward to all that you're bringing to the table this year. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I have a question. Do you get an opportunity to speak to the council or mayor or both at all?
So we do, in October, we will be presenting to the Neighborhood Services and Education Division. And we have a few council members on that.
I recommend that if you have any questions for the mayor and council, you should definitely be able to do that too.
Yeah, prepare them.
Last call for questions. All right, one more round of applause. Thank you so much. Item B will be our budget overview, and I think it's Fiona Cabana. Fiona Cabana. With my second favorite item.
All right, can everybody hear me okay? Yeah, okay. So hello, everyone. I'm Fiona Cabana. I'm the administrative officer here at San Jose Public Library. Today's presentation is going to be a budget overview and what you can expect as commissioners as we go through the budget process. Next slide. So first, just to give an overview of our budget. So it includes both our operating budget and our capital budget. In our operating budget, we have about $70.8 million, which includes funds, our general fund, our library parcel tax fund, our general fund capital funds, as well as our gift trust fund. And this supports our core services from access to information, literacy and learning, as well as our strategic support services. So everything from admin and finance to data and analytics. And a big portion, about 80% of our operating budget funds our staff salaries. So this is about 398.02 full-time equivalent, which is about 637 positions. On the capital budget side, this fiscal year's budget is about 23.7 million. This includes funding from a couple of different sources or funds, including our construction and conveyance tax fund, which you'll sometimes hear referenced as CUC. We have our library branch, our branch library bond projects fund, as well as our building forward infrastructure grant fund. And our capital budget funds everything from facilities improvements and equipment to our collections, as well as technology. Next one. So the last budget presentation we had was back in April, which is right around the time when the proposed operating budgets were released. And so at that time, we kind of referenced that as part of the fiscal year 25-26 budget, we were instructed to look at different ways of delivering our services or looking for new funding sources. And so as a result of grounding our engagement process in our strategic priorities, our staff engagement, and then also the advocacy from the commission, here are a couple of the items that made it, or all the items actually that made it into the adopted budget. So first, we look to decrease our City of San Jose and San Jose State operating agreement for the Martin Luther King Jr. Library to align with actual costs, and so there's no service impact to those services. We also decreased our library security contract to also align with actual costs, and so no service impact there as well. We looked at opportunities to reallocate funding, and so we looked at reallocating funding for our College and Career Pathways program to move those staff costs to the foundation for 2 fiscal years. And then we received a one-time general fund increase for materials from prior year savings. So this was about $500,000 and then $250,000 ongoing. But as I mentioned, our capital fund is a large portion of our acquisitions funding, and as that revenue continues to fluctuate, we'll continue to be looking for opportunities to fund our collections budget to make sure that we're meeting our demand as well as the rising costs. And then finally, in the mayor's June budget message, we received one-time funding of $191,000 in our non-personal or equipment funding budget to support various programs and organizations, including the Ignite Fellowship Program, the Youth Science Institute, Silicon Valley Education Foundation, and as well as our Tully Branch safety improvement. And then in our capital budget, the focus here was to maintain funding for our Building Forward Library Grant Match. So this is to fund all the infrastructure projects, everything from replacing and repairing roofs, boilers, HVAC systems, maintaining funding for the Biblioteca Latinoamericana branch renovation. We also allocated funding from our library parcel tax to fund an automation project, which is looking at our technology that supports the various catalogs and reference resources and the underlying technology that supports that service. And then as we continue to go through different parts of the budget process, we continue to look for funding to support our facilities maintenance, repairs, furniture, fleet, technology, and collections. So everything that makes up the library. And so the budget goes from July 1st through June 30th. And so in the next couple of months is when we'll really start to kick off the budget process. So it really starts with in December when the city manager releases her budget direction memo, giving departments citywide the opportunity to put forth budget proposals, which would be due in January. In February, we have an opportunity to convene the commission to put forward the budget message that we will move forward to city council. And then March is when the mayor's budget presentation will be released, and there's typically a public hearing, or there will be a public hearing meeting. May is really the big buzz for budget. This is the time when there will be a whole host of community meetings, public study sessions, public hearings, and we also have an opportunity for our council members to provide their budget requests. June is when there'll be the final June budget message and the budget adoption so that we can run the budget that following July 1st. And so just wanted to close out with upcoming presentations and opportunities for engagement for you all. So at our November meeting, you can expect that we'll kind of look to you all to appoint a few folks to participate in the subcommittee that will help prepare the budget message to council. January, I'll come back to give a budget presentation about kind of state of the budget at that point in time. February, as I mentioned, will be the action items. So make sure you're all here in attendance because that's when we'll do the adoption for that item. And then April 15th, we'll do a presentation on the budget. And at that time, we hope to have a better inkling and what will be anticipated to be released in the budget. So with that, I will open it up for questions. Budget is a really fun topic. Dry.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Do we have any public comment?
We do not.
Okay. All right. So let's get started on the questions and comments. Before we do that, I just want to let people know that people might get voluntold for the subcommittee. So maybe if you want to do it, you should think about it now. It's fun. It's fun. We promise. Yes. 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 But it's also good for you all to do too. Okay, Commissioner Alistida.
Thank you for that announcement, Chair. You can sign me up for that.
It's on the record.
Just wanted to also thank you for that presentation. I think it was great. I just also wanted to say great job on everything. It looks like, you know, the operating budget and just the capital budget. It looks well managed, you know, that makes me happy just because of the recent cuts that we've had, you know, not just for our city, but for our county. So thank you for, you know, being able to manage all that. You know, given that we have everything operating right now, is there short sites that might be coming in the fiscal year in 2026, per se, that are maybe not anticipated? I mean, I did see the one-time investment that they're gonna be doing in a couple of projects, but is there anything else that, you know, might overall throw that out?
So I will say, so as the budget office completes kind of their forecast for the coming year, I think that's when we'll have an opportunity to see if there's going to be additional cuts citywide or impacts to both our capital fund. So I think now we have a better sense of where the city is going, but I wouldn't say there's anything going to be out of the way.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Commissioner Wolf?
Just because I'm new and don't know, do you have any, infrastructure backlog within the libraries? I'm just coming off the Parks Commission, which has got an enormous one, so I was just wondering if there's a backlog.
Yeah, and then, sorry, Jenny, do you want to share a little bit about?
I'm trying to remember the number. It's pretty good.
And on the budget page, and I can, pull this up for you after, there is a citywide infrastructure backlog that our Public Works Department prepares, I think with a memo, so that will share some of the information.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. Just to clarify, we were just sort of conferring, but we do an annual report to the commission just on our capital program. So you'll get a lot more detail then, including any backlog information. We have been lucky to do a lot of projects. We've been able to get some state grants that we are administering, so you'll learn more about that as well. But I think as Fiona was just saying, unlike other departments, we don't manage our own capital. The Parks and Neighborhood Services is one of the departments that has its own capital division, and they're able to do their own contracting and that whole process. We, as a different type of department, we work through Public Works Department. And so we partner closely with them, and our backlog is part of the citywide backlog, but we do have it tracked separately. You'll get a full report on that later in the year. Yeah.
Have any other questions? Comments? Okay, great. Let's all looking for a round of applause. Thank you. Next on our discussion items is an informational item. And which it will be the Facilities and Customer Experience Plan update by Mariana and Margaret Sullivan. Okay.
I'll probably, after I read my intro, I'll come and more like a TED Talk. But thank you all. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you all. Very exciting that you're hosting the commission on the very exciting night. You almost lost me to a pedicab going to the WNBA game. Someone else having. But yes, in true inclusive, welcoming fashion in San Jose, the pedicab was going to the game, and the two people said, "Are you going too? Do you want to hop in?" Said, "I'm going to the library." So as we are on the final stretch of this work effort, our goal is to provide a set of near-term, midterm, and long-term recommendations for facilities investment and growth. But more importantly, what we will be delivering is a framework and guiding principles for responsible and financially sustainable decision-making as citywide development opportunities arise. So the purpose tonight is to communicate our process, which has been extremely comprehensive, extremely complex, our learnings, and provide you all with the preliminary formation of the plan in preparation of the October 27th meeting. Our invitation to you tonight is to really evaluate what you're seeing for all the things that you all need as leaders, to be supportive of the plan, to be advocates for the plan, and to be proud, most importantly, proud of the plan. So that's what tonight is. And it's, we love our slides, as you all know, at Margaret Sullivan Studio, but the real goal is really to introduce you all and have you all comfortable with the comprehensive nature of this work effort, which has been truly extraordinary. So we'll have the project overview, the goals of designing the library for today's communities, an evaluation of the existing facilities to support new service models, the investigation of how to grow the reach in the future, and then applying those learnings for not just San Jose Public Libraries facilities, but also applying those learnings in the city, and then let you know about next steps. You have the A team. Many of you all have met our wonderful team, but Liz and Jenny are representing today, and I can't thank them enough for especially the past 2 weeks. We had a quick turnaround since we were here the last time. So we've been working very hard. Many of you all are seeing some of this for the first time. So at the very beginning of the process, we start with a framework of a critical inquiry methodology, with the goals being that we want to articulate the role and purpose of our facilities today and for the future. We look to see if the sizes, as they currently are right-sized for the community's needs and the community's growth. This process is marked by an intensive co-creation process with community partners, staff, and yes, the Youth Commission. So did we get bumped up to number 1? The Youth Commission has played a significant part in this process. And then what we are currently really in the phase of, as we do the final stretch, is identify innovative scenarios, not just innovative, but realistic scenarios and opportunities for funding. It's, the world is changing and we just can't go out for a bond and not be a sustainable model. So we really want to give you all options. You all are important to ensure that we are aligning with the citywide goals, and also that this can be a successful process for implementation, and that the tools are there for you all to support the staff's needs. But it's very complex. We are on the final mile, and it's a very dynamic time where a lot of really great insights are coming together, and some really dynamic insights are starting to form. We are in the midst of our 4th trip in terms of co-creation, and we're also meeting with the foundation on Friday at their board retreat to also give them an update. So we had a really wonderful staff and leadership workshop today. And we'll deliver again the findings report, which you all have. And then the facilities and customer experience plan, which is going to we're still developing its final form, but it'll be a focus on facilities as well as customer experience. And just as we have, I see we're a little cut off, and that's okay because I remember what it said. But all of our methodologies are customized, and this is really looking at honing in on where our methodology got tweaked. And it's really using community inputs to learn how should our libraries be designed to service their needs, hopes, aspirations today. And taking that vision, doing an evaluation of the existing facilities and are they able to adapt? Do we need to grow our reach? And then how does this apply to the typologies? And again, how will we fund the future? So we did significant work in the process on starting with strategic research, countywide study of growth, citywide study of growth and goals and objectives, as well as really understanding the education and digital literacy strategy as a vehicle to support facilities development. We've been studying the equity index. Y'all are so complex and have such sophisticated data there that really helps us understand where needs are in real time from a socioeconomic standpoint. And then we developed a framework that many of you all who were at the partner breakfast were introduced to that helped us really expand the inquiry method around the role and purpose of a public library as it relates to cultural identities, health and wellness, and trust and belonging and civic vitality, in addition to economic wellness and education success, which are your core missions. We did branch questionnaires. We did a lot. We have visited almost every single library, and we've had some really strong staff and leadership workshops. We've had an ambitious community engagement with one-on-one conversations, focus groups that included, I think, the Youth Commission was one. But also technology community, arts and culture community, successful partner convening, some wonderful engagement at Viva Calle, and then a community-wide survey. So our work uses that complementary approach to really see those opportunities as a whole. These are the focus groups, and then the one-on-one conversations. I think some takeaways here would be particularly top of mind for the city manager is just the budget concerns in the future, but also what I think came out of the city manager conversations was opportunity for opportunity pathway. And then with Supervisor Betty Fong, I mean, she's just Uber fan. Well, they're all Uber fans. Everybody that we talk to is an Uber fan of the library. But she really sees the opportunity for continued workforce development. The staff and leadership workshops have been extremely successful. You can see here in the first workshop, they really developed a series of places and spaces that they need to do their work better. And in the second workshop, they created strategic frameworks that then applied those learnings to create unique, customized approaches for each one of the locations. So a lot of good work there. The partner breakfast, I think by any measure, was a huge success and is really marked by just deep appreciation of the library and what you all do, a desire to continue to stay involved in these types of convenings, but also for our work, both continued partnership and programming opportunities, but they really want to use your facilities. And so that also increases your value and relevancy in the city. So out of the partner breakfast, when we asked folks to design future library experiences around this framework, some really great ideas came up, some really great ideas that y'all are already doing. But again, continued opportunities to strengthen partnerships and bring value to the city. Everyone had a great time at Viva Calle. And I think what was really interesting is if you see some of the requests for what they wanted the libraries to be, they were going all over the place. Childcare to swimming pools and everything in between. But I think the great, like kind of the eureka and how we've been able to make sense of it in this process is that folks want their quality of life amenities to be all kind of in one place, under one roof, and convenient to for their families, their friends, and their neighbors. And we design our cities as if our departments are different, unique and discrete places. And what we really need to be thinking about is how do we synergize those experiences in service to our families and communities. And even in the community surveying, we're seeing this all over the country. Folks are really interested in expanding the library to outdoors, community gardens, reading gardens. What was really interesting is, the Center for Happiness is such a conceptual idea, and that rose to the top in the surveys as a request. So that's going to be fun for y'all to keep exploring. But again, all of those, well, everything from a quiet study room wellness center to Pilates, yoga studio, and messy maker spaces. So folks are really interested in the library being an innovative place for curiosity and exploration. And they're already experiencing these programs too. These types of programs are happening each and every day. I think one of the things that's been a real eureka to us in this process, and one that y'all, I think, should be extremely proud of, is when you look at the programs that are the most attended, it's many that are cultural in nature. And especially when we looked and evaluated the survey for the four languages that were not the English speaking languages, you see a desire for dance, art, cultural activities. They love the festivals. And so as we're seeing what the kind of core foundational opportunities are for you all with this plan, it's to how can we deepen and enrich the histories, the cultural identities of everyone who calls San Jose home. So that's something that we found. Now, the other thing that we found in the community survey, and we've heard this in anecdotal conversations as well, is folks use multiple library locations. And so that's very good for you all, because each location doesn't have to be a one-size-fits-all. It gives you a lot of freedom and flexibility to have unique experiences at each one. And I think when we looked at the synthesis of the types of spaces that were rising to the top from the survey, social spaces, opportunities for gathering, tech opportunities, and that builds in the digital literacy, digital equity, personal health and well-being, and then of course, the strength of your educational programs. And then as we asked the question, in the future, our libraries will foster a more, at the core was literate, which I think again reinforces why you exist. But you're also seeing such wonderfully diverse words and goals, from curious to civically engaged to empathetic, entrepreneurial, inclusive. So just a wonderful set of positive, and I mean, this kind of warmed my heart today, because I don't think we're looking at positivity. It's a very hard time to see positivity right now. And I just want us to really enjoy that we put that out there to the community, and they came back with a lot of great vision, a vision for the future of the city that the library can help foster. And the numbers don't lie. This was a very comprehensive, ambitious engagement. We couldn't have done it without y'all being such fabulous partners. My favorite numbers on this are the 300 ice pops distributed. So then, in our methodology, we really just want to look at, are the existing facilities able to adapt? So we did a study. And again, looking at the opportunities and knowing these are the three, those that are starred actually are the 4 library locations that Commissioner Dwong uses. So just to show folks are using multiple libraries, but the opportunities are to customize experience across the system, to look at realigning the public space to increase equitable access to all learning styles and all programming styles. And then also the final opportunity is to activate the public space for contemporary service model, which really those words are adaptability and flexibility is what we've been hearing throughout this process. This goes to your question about deferred maintenance, but it's best practices in public library and public civic building. What you are looking for is every 30 years, the cost of investment is about 2/3 the cost to build new. And that's just the nature of when all of our systems start giving out. So you all have been going to all those wonderful 20-year celebrations. So you know you've got a few that are in 20. You've even the ones that are, these libraries are 16 years, 19 years since they were last either built or renovated. So this is a really good time to be doing this work because you've got a good amount of roadway to think about the future of all of these facilities. We've also been evaluating the libraries for where staff have a hard time, where we say that, where are you fighting with your building? So again, 20 years ago, y'all were miles ahead and very progressive. You've always been progressive when it comes to design of the libraries. But so many of those progressive concepts were built-in furniture, so they don't enable flexibility and adaptability that you'll need today. So we also are evaluating the size based on recent best practices and studies that we've done. A library that is less than 14,000 square feet really needs to behave like a one-room schoolhouse. Anything above that 14,000 square feet can really be that multi-purpose contemporary library experience. So we're evaluating which ones fall in that, and the majority of your libraries do. The ones that are less than that are actually quite flexible and adaptable, but they may be flexible and adaptable with one or two strengths. But again, as you think about the complementary experience, all that's good. So you've got a lot of opportunities. You've also got your co-located, and then our King is its own wonderful beacon, very different approach as well. But what we've looked at is what we do is just imagine taking a floor plan and turning it upside down and shaking out all of the furniture to really see how flexible and adaptable floor plans are. And West Valley is very flexible. It's got really great light and high ceilings. And then when we study its layout now, it's really the inverse of how we want gathering to happen. So we want the big gathering spaces that are like green to feel like this kind of environment, like a living room. And the shelving can be on the perimeter, but so we can see the opportunities for realignment within. And so then after we've evaluated, can we realign for best practices, we want to look at, do we need to grow our reach with real estate and square footage? And then how would we want to grow? So we've been using, there's a regional plan, remind me of the name of it because it got cut off. Plan Bay Area. So it's a regional plan that identifies San Jose's population projections, which I think you all know there's been so many disruptions over the past few years. We really are evaluating this on a real-time basis, but I think more importantly is where is growth happening and where are new housing developments and new corporate developments happening is what we want to be keeping an eye on. Again, we're also looking at the socioeconomic conditions is that a driver for investment and growth as well. And then there are metrics in the library world that taken singularly are probably not the literal truth, but when we look at this in the complexity of the other components we've identified, it starts to paint another picture. And that metric is that 0.5 square feet per population served is a best practice minimum for what our buildings should be. And a good target is 0.75 square feet per population served. A great target is 1 square feet per population served, but any additional capital monies is just big money, right? So we want to look at this in a responsible way. So when we look at we're calling this the branch equity bar chart. So King is not represented here, but with all of the branches, you start to see there are about 3/4 of the branches that are not the size that meets either that 0.5 square feet per population served, and then many are not meeting that 0.75. So it gives y'all just a good range. And also, when you're talking to city and county leaders, they love these numbers. And it gives y'all a good place to say, this is where our needs are, and this is why we need facilities. And then we also did the math of what that means in terms of the population that's not being met in a equity-driven way. We are studying the site typologies. So they're the co-located branches, adjacent branches. So co-location is like Almaden, park adjacent is like Berryessa. A lot of your library facilities don't have a lot of room to grow on the site. But then there's untapped development opportunities like Alviso that's experiencing unique development opportunities. So we're starting to identify those. And then again, like Biblioteca, there's places that are untapped outdoor spaces that we're kind of looking at to capture potentially. Your leadership team is so smart, and they started thinking about, well, why don't we look at the community centers, the swimming pools, all the things that were being requested. So we're doing that asset mapping to really understand where these locations are. Are these spaces being utilized maximally? So that's where we are right now on that asset mapping. So this gets us to the framework for the growth strategy, and I'm super excited for you all because I think it's a smart growth strategy. I think it's financially responsible, and I think it also is a strategy where folks like the city manager who are worried about financial concerns in the future can see that you all are part of a solution. So the first strategy is to look at continuing to realign the public usable space with your support spaces. And over time, and you all have already been leading this, our library facilities don't need to have as large of reference desks. We don't need to have as large of dedicated rows of stacks because you're getting materials out of the communities faster. Folks' consumption of those collections are changing. And so by realigning and recapturing the public space in the building footprint that you already have, that's a very responsible way to provide additional flexibility and adaptability. The second thing is we're looking at the potential for the outdoor spaces. There's in some of the locations, there's a significant amount of outdoor space that's untapped. And then we're looking at growing through those public park adjacencies, potential community center synergies, and then adding additional square footage as a strategic approach and with this complex approach that, again, I think is very financially responsible and captures the partner synergies that were expressed at the partner meeting. And then we've done some math to illustrate with the branch inequity and the additional square footage, what that can also look like across the system in the long term. A lot. So those are the frameworks. And then as we're developing that aspirational narrative, you know, we're really seeing this as an opportunity to really deepen cultural experiences, the soul of the city, continue your great work with education and digital literacy, and just celebrate what it means to be in San Jose. There's also a framework that we've developed that really supports what those community needs are that we found from the partner breakfast, with the role and purpose of the expanded role and purpose of the facilities, and then to develop a series of strategic roles. City as connected communities, city as classroom, city as cultural celebration. And library civic activator, which really came from the youth commission and their interest in all the work that I talked about earlier. And we're providing frameworks for staff to really see themselves in this role and purpose framework through their activities. And again, another framework that really helps reinforce that the communities are at the center of this work, and our work, our meaning the library is there to activate these experiences. Through a recipe of placemaking components, which will be delivered that they developed. And then this is just an example of the kind of concept plan that will be delivered for all of the library. That's a framework of how the spaces and places can transform each one of the buildings. And then just some really fun, we're going to end with some really fun ideas. Folks, the staff came up with some great ideas for city as connected communities with a lot of intergenerational programming. City as classroom, a lot of makerspace equipment, and city as cultural celebration, some really interesting mashups with all the great diversity in the communities. And civic activator is marked by wanting to host a lot of community engagement activities on a regular basis. So finally, next steps. We'll be continuing to look at the projected growth and development to give some more specific recommendations. Developing such scenarios for funding and development opportunities. Identify small, medium, and large investment ideas that y'all can invest in different time opportunities. And then ensure that the customer experience plan reflects all the right work that the staff completed today. So thank you all.
Good job, and especially getting us through a 52 slide deck, and in a very succinct manner. Is there any public comment?
No, there's not.
Okay, I'm gonna open it up to questions and comments, and I'll start with a question, maybe an observation. Great job. Love all of it. I was participated in the Hester in the brunch. Yeah, the community brunch. There was good food. So
Yes, yes.
that's what I remember. And good talk. I wanted to kind of just observe something on slide 23. I noticed that the top three, the question, what neighborhood library location is closest to where you live, the top three are, Cambria and Willow Glen, Cranberry and Berryessa, Willow Glen, which are, good areas in the city of San Jose. Which branch do you visit more? Cambrian, and Berryessa. And then also, if you want to keep it on this, and oh no, wait, not this. And then also point out in slide 35, with the equity index, the opportunity for growth and investment. I noticed that the Dr. Roberto Cruz Allen Rock Library is a little bit lower in terms of community survey. And I found that to be interesting, specifically with the opportunity for equity growth. And I wanted to hear your thoughts on that, and also around the cultural, how that was the number one, like, oh, let's have some cultural spaces. And the reason why I point that out is because the East Side is very, very rich in culture. And I'm sure I feel the nodding over here from my commission, like District 5 Commissioner over here. And I wanted to get some thoughts and impressions on getting feedback from the residents in that neighborhood.
So our process is is based on looking at a comprehensive set of qualitative and quantitative data. It's about to go. And so the survey is one component that we know typically the folks that take the survey are core users in more affluent communities. That take the majority. So this data is also, you'll have such strong data around utilization that this data is in complement to that. So for example, what this told us wasn't necessarily literally the results of this community survey, because we know that this represents a slice, but that this survey tells us that folks are using multiple libraries, more importantly. Digging deeper into ensuring that all voices are represented. One of the things that we do in the survey is we don't weight the answers. If we see, 20 answers in one community, those are equally as important as 100 answers in another community. So that's the way we evaluate that. The choice of being at Viva Calle, I was telling the group this morning, I keep calling it Calle Ocho. Because that's a restaurant in New York City. The choice of being at Viva Calle was to be on the east side and really glean that information. All of this work is peeling back the onion. So this work isn't the end of this work. It's identifying for your staff members that continued conversations are critical, and they're so skilled at that community feedback loop already. So it's continuing to deepen and learn. A big part of the customer experience plan is learning to feel even more comfortable and competent with those feedback loops. And did you?
Yes, you answered.
Okay, okay.
Thank you. And I think the Director Bourne had an additional.
Yeah, just to add on to what Margaret was saying, the Viva Calle stocks were, wrong. And various the brands. We did get a lot of engagement there, but I think to that point, what that survey told us in terms of the top responder location was just that those were the people that filled out the survey. And it tells you something about the community and allows us to think about what was happening in those spaces. And not just in those branches, because it's asking them what branches use the most. And for some reasons, those were the locations where we got the most. But we also, as you all know, we know that other branches are used more in different ways. So circulation, visits, program attendance, all those things also come into place with this. So there was a lot of different ways in which we got feedback from the community. But the survey is one instrument. And it's an interesting factoid, and Deputy Director Grabowski is going to know this piece of data, but we believe that this survey respondents was twice as much as the city receives in their annual survey. So it's actually a very high number
Yeah.
of responses. So that was interesting.
Okay, questions? I'll go this way. Commissioner Westfall.
So thank you for the presentation again. I really appreciate the fact that you're providing data that the library can take going forward to make decisions in conjunction with the changes that you're recommending, as well as anything that can piggyback or dovetail on top of that. So I really do appreciate that. On slide 40, where you're talking about growth strategy, you show a 50% cut in the support spaces that are going to be allocated to the public spaces and the newly created spaces. Do you attribute that to the natural decay of space based on things going digitally? Or is that based more on optimization or a combination of those two?
And also, this is still a framework. I want to qualify it, but what it's based on is based on the studies we've done over the past 12 years, the best practice realignment of public space to that, what we call the static support space, is 70% public space, 30% static support space. That's just generally what we found in the successful libraries that we've been working on for the past 12 years. But I think it's a tribute to a lot of things. One, it's really, we have a lot more data analytics about how what is circulating and what is not circulating. So I think there's a lot more confidence in the data that you all have about what the community members want in any format. And we're learning that we don't have to be hoarders because there's so many wonderful ways that we're getting, whether it's through merchandising or whether it's through aligning consumption habits with that data that we know. And we're also floating collections. So in many ways, the library is a big, it's a conduit for getting materials out into the hands of the community as quickly as possible. So those habits, I think we're starting to see, again, the data analytics to help us make really smart decisions about utilization goals. I do think the disruption to how we consume materials since COVID is something that is important, but I'm not sure how many, do y'all have a strong sense of data analytics to support that? The work that we're basing this on was pre-COVID numbers.
We've been crunching the numbers from the end of the fiscal year, and we believe that our circulation just has their pre-pandemic numbers, which we were actually really surprised about for the first time.
Yeah, so these best practice numbers are based on pre-COVID, but again, it has to be a case by case basis because each location has customized consumption habits. But we do know that in the public library, materials circulate more effectively in a merchandising manner, which you all see. The second thing, but there are other folks that know collections better than I, but we use that data to help inform this realignment strategy.
Commissioner Brown?
It's great to see this after attending the breakfast. I just remember having a heck of a time figuring out what to do with everything I wanted in that library, placing it on. I just, the whole table, we were just like, we don't know how to do this. So I can't begin to imagine how complicated getting all that information and just sifting through that. I have really experienced a lot outside of my typical library use, so I pushed myself to go to a Bollywood dance class. And I have to say, I had striking conversations, just, hey, what brings you here? It was really interesting to hear how, other people like, well, I didn't think about taking a dance class at a library. Hey, so I was really excited to hear some of the feedback from the community about that kind of a community experience is just a little different than what you would typically think of doing at the library. And it made me even more excited about what we're looking at and our, opening up to our communities more in our libraries. And what you showed about the moving all of the books to the perimeter, so you open up the central space to really invite the community, and that makes such sense to me. I can't wait to see what's next.
And it's just furniture, so those are near-term opportunities.
Commissioner, oh wait, did you find one else? Okay, I thought you were just looking there. I'm gonna go around this way, so.
Thank you. This was super fascinating. I love learning all these things. You mentioned one of the things, we were kind of ahead of our time with internet cafes and things like that, but they're a little dated now. So how do we make sure that in this process, we're seeing the future to make sure that those things, we're not doing that again, which we always have to upgrade and things, but because sometimes these processes can take so long that we want to make sure on the end of it, it's something that still everybody wants.
So the key to the crystal ball, don't tell anyone I'm telling you. The key really to the crystal ball is designing a set, a recipe of the types of spaces that support small, medium, and large gatherings, public gatherings, private gatherings, and making sure that the highest possible utilization is there with that variety of learning, creating, sharing, performing types of environment. So that's what I lose sleep over, and I make sure that's what you all have. You have a place where your collections can grow and shrink with the changing habits of your communities. You have buildings that can support, that have as much infrastructure as we know how to do to support evolving technologies. I mean, that many of your facilities were built right on the cusp of the higher demand in technology. So that's our job. The other way, and this is what I'll do on the customer experience plan, is so key, and what we've developed, what our primary objective has been with the staff, in particular, is how do you activate these for the flexibility and adaptability that these facilities are designed for, and getting them in the habit of that responsiveness. And I think, you know, there's huge success today. They all developed sort of exploration. We call it the Cupcake Project, a small, doable project. And I think almost all of them said, we can do this in our spaces today. We can transform our community room. We can transform our internet cafe. We can turn our team space into a digital coding lab. So they were starting to see that flexibility already. But that's really the important piece.
Commissioner Abastia.
Thank you. I'm particularly excited about the emerging ideas using the city as a cultural celebration. I sort of envision having installations come to every single one of the libraries, sort of like what we have in downtown with the, I don't know if you see the Alebrijes that are coming from Oaxaca, Mexico. Just because I really do think that we can utilize our library facilities more, and at the same time invite the community over to not only look at the art, but look at all the facility, all the programs and facilities that we have in the libraries. By any chance, is there anything that, I know it's gonna take years, but is there anything that, you guys are already thinking about?
I think one of the things that we were really expanding on, we want the facilities to be co-ownership and co-creation models for the community members. So really inviting them into conversations about how to activate a festival that celebrates something special in their cultures. And so taking it to the next level of not just art or mural or elements, but how do we activate the rooms and the experiences to make them environment for cultural activities. And so that's, I think, a near-term opportunity. What I hope for you all in the future is what we found that has been very successful in places like East Las Vegas, where the building was actually designed with a plaza up front, with a space for quinceañeras, so that the buildings start to not reflect institutional Americana periods of time, but actually start to reflect cultural references and form, as well as art.
Questions or comments? Thank you for the very comprehensive presentation. We look forward to reading the report. Yes, and we will have a follow-up with the joint meeting in October. Yes. And so for those of you who maybe missed something, or, do you want to tell us all The folks are fall in New York City, everyone dresses up at the building, with you come dressing up as
As a library. A branch. Yeah, my branches rose garden, so I'm just doing like roses. Yeah. All right, okay, well, thank you again, and thank you for to the commission for all your questions. All right, so we are now moving on to item 6, and that'll be our council liaisons announcements. Take it away, council member.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for all of the work you do. It's really exciting. I have been doing more participating in some of your activities, which you'll hear about in a minute. I want to take a moment to introduce my staff member who you may see once in a while. And sometimes, you know, I try to come to as many of these as I can, but there may be a time when I don't. So I want to introduce you to Kobe Lopez. He's on my staff and he's been helping me with a lot of the different youth issues, library issues, education issues. So you may see him around and you can ask him all the hard questions. I just wanted to update the commission on some of the items that has happened in council. The city approved $1.5 million for ebooks, audiobooks, and other digital services. It was on our agenda at the end of August, and went through no problem. We are continuing our collaboration with the Schools and Cities Collaborative. We have a very good relationship with many of the superintendents and the schools in San Jose, and we'll continue working with them on different issues. I participated in the Christy Yamaguchi Family Literacy Festival. It was fabulous. I got to meet Curious George, and it was a great collaboration with the Children's History Museum. And so I know the foundation did a lot of work. So thank you, Dawn, wherever you are, to let you know that I really appreciated that. And it's just one of many activities that people just love and enjoy. We had increased participation at the graphic novel making contest on Saturday, September 13th here in the City Hall Rotunda, and I heard it was a great success. And one of the things I'm doing, I'm trying to do more, and I'm working with my youth commissioner to include more high school students in civic engagement, as well as looking at middle schools. And what are some of the things we can do with our most challenging middle schools? So I continue to do that work. And that's my report.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda, item 7. I have to convert the Roman numerals in my head. So note to self to write it down. 7, our chair's announcements, that's me. I also attended the 3rd annual Christy Yamaguchi Family Literacy Festival. We ran into council member Kamei and her grandchildren. And I want to thank Amber Bowsey's daughter for watching my child so I can have like 2 seconds of sanity. But it was really cool because we got a bunch of books and my daughter just loved just going all over. She was so excited to go to the building with the duck, and she kept talking about it all week because she was like, I'm going to the building with the duck, and then she was like, it's a purple building, and I was like, thank you. So it was excellent programming, and we saw Christy Yamaguchi, and got to play with bubbles and water. So I highly recommend it. I probably would have gone if I didn't have a child, honestly. Because it looked like a lot of fun. And I just wanted to shout out the partnerships for everyone who went and attended. I think that's it for my announcement. So I'm going to head over to item number 8, and that will be our library director's announcements.
Thank you. This is very sensitive to me. So this month is National Library Card Sign Up Month, and the San Jose Public Library is encouraging library card signups with an exciting giveaway. If you haven't seen it online, the mini tote bag, our mini tote bag. We have had over 800 tote bags given out to new library card members this month. Are those exchanging their old card for a new design. So we also had an influx of demand for this little tote bag, and I think like over 60,000 likes on or engagements on social media or something. So the team has put together a weekend giveaway, which is happening this weekend, September 20th and 21st. So anyone with an SJPL card can come into any location while supplies last and get one of our little mini tote bags, which is just big enough for like 3 novels or a couple of kids' books. But they're super adorable. And of course, this is we are always promoting folks getting a library card, but what it's really about is what a library card membership can do for you, and just the recognition of that. I know you're all great advocates and mouthpieces for that, but that's really what it's all about. And so you can learn more at sjpl.org/NLCM, National Library Card Month. And then we are also recognizing National Hispanic Heritage Month this month from September 15th through October 15th. To celebrate, we do have a variety of programs. We have family dance class, we have live concerts, story times, and arts and crafts, as well, including a couple Picado decorations program on Sunday, September 21st at our Biblioteca Latinoamericana branch from 2 to 3:30. And all the scheduled programs can be seen on our website calendar. Take a deep breath. Okay. We also are always looking for volunteers, as you know, especially for our adult literacy and ESL programs and the incredible impact they make. So we do have a virtual volunteer orientation available on Monday, September 22nd from 11 to 12 p.m. It will introduce people to the 2 various adult literacy and English as a second language programs, which we do have. They serve over 13,000 people a year. And we always have a waiting list for some of our tutoring needs and that sort of thing. So volunteers can commit just 2 to 3 hours per week. They can either do online or in person, and they basically support adults in building basic reading or English conversation skills. So you can do one-on-one, small groups, all sorts of things. We just encourage folks, if you know anybody who you think would be a good volunteer, direct them to sjpl.org/adult literacy. And then lastly, we are getting ready for Banned Books Week, have fun, in October, from October 5th to 11th, which of course reaffirms our commitment to intellectual freedom and access as part of our broader Right to Library initiative. And so during that week, October 5th to 11th, there are going to be a variety of free events for all ages with engaging programs such as our Teen HQ band theater performance. That'll be fun. Book discussions, branch displays, scavenger hunts, bingo activities, and more. And definitely put this on your calendar on Saturday, October 11th from noon to 6 p.m. at Clandestine Brewing. We are, they're hosting a Banned Books and Brews event in partnership with the library and our wonderful foundation. We're going to have it is a true community pub where families go, and there's going to be food. There's going to be a story time, brewery tours, a banned book fair, think like Scholastic Book Fair, but a banned books fair, art show, a themed beer menu, and much more. So all of the details are at our library website, sjpl.org/bannedbooks. That's my report, and I welcome any questions.
Thank you. That was very exciting, and I look forward to going to Clandestine Brewing. And participate in the book fair. Right. It's like you really went to, like, you guys really went to the nostalgic part of that for us. Okay. There was no comments or questions. Okay, great. So item number 9 is comments and announcements. Item A would be announcements and meetings attended by commissioners as commissioners, and this is any announcements to be shared by anyone on the library commission who wants to share what they've done. Mr. Watson? You can always check out Commissioner Abba's Instagram. Okay, well. Next month, we'll talk about the clandestine brewing. Okay, and then item B is the San Jose Public Library Foundation Board report. Dawn, unfortunately could not join us today, so she, as the liaison to the foundation, I am providing her report. She too was at the 2025 third annual and Christy Yamaguchi Family Literacy Center, festival. They had a fantastic, it was just really fantastic. The final attendance number was 1,909, which is a 22.7% increase and from 1,556 last year. They were able to fundraise enough, they fundraised where the ticket sales covered all the event costs. So they retained all their sponsorship revenue, and that's about $70,000 for unrestricted purposes, a 35% increase from 2024. The VIPs in the audience were council members Kamei plus grandchildren and Cohen, the Golden State Warrior reps, and I would also argue my teenager was also a VIP. So you can watch, look at the event photos and recap video on their Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook. And I'm sure they posted the photos on their website. Additional announcements that the San Jose Public Library Foundation will have their board retreat this Friday, where the focus will be on creating a decision-making tool to help the foundation's fundraising commitment to the San Jose Public Library in the following year. 94% of board members will be present at MLK in person, which is their greatest attendance since 2019. And then on September 25th, which is rapidly approaching, there will be a free estate planning 201 workshop. I think they had a 101 workshop about a month ago. And this will be at the Almaden Branch Library. You may register at sjplf.org/estate planning. And she said it was standing room only at the last one. That's true. My husband went and he told me that. So it must be true, I suppose. And that concludes the foundation report. Okay. Moving right along. Item number 10 is information and upcoming opportunities for commission participation. See the full program calendar, and it was also in the report from Director Bourne. Go visit the program calendar on sjpl.org. We really should go to Clandestine Brewery together. Like, it'll be fun. Maybe a brown act, but like, it's like okay, we just gotta talk about business, but we can talk about band book. There we go. Okay, so item 11 are items for future commission meeting agendas. Are there any items for future commission meeting agendas? All right, so item 12 on our agenda is our meeting schedule agenda items. I want to emphasize this for everyone. Our next meeting is a joint meeting with the Youth Commission. And that meeting will be here at MLK Library on the second floor, Monday, October 27th, 6:30 p.m. So not only is it not on a Wednesday, it's on a Monday. And then not only is it not the third Wednesday of the month, it'll be like the fourth Monday. And not only is it not on the third floor, it's on the second floor. So I'm just gonna repeat it. It's at 6:30. It's not even at 7 o'clock. So nothing, it's the same. So Monday, October 27th at 6:30 here in MLK Library, but on the second floor. We're on the second floor.
225.
Okay.
Conference at the top of the later.
The signs were fantastic.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
Yes.
Good. Okay, So, we'll see you then. And I just have to say, like, the youth commission joint meeting is a lot of fun and we get a chance to kind of interact with them. And usually what happens is that we take our votes separately, but we still have our conversation together. And so come prepared for questions and good conversation. And with that, I think I'm going to item number 13 is the adjournment, and I will adjourn the meeting at 8:30 p.m. Thank you so much to everyone.